Hello everyone and welcome for another video of Love and Wargames. In this video, we are going to open the much anticipated Destiny Battlefleet set that I just received. We know what is going to be inside and I'm going to show you right away. And it is 8 sprues of Union Aerials, which is going to be massive. So of course it's going to be 8 Bogotas, 8 SRS tokens, great. And of course the resin that will allow to build the Destiny itself. So we are going to do this video as usual now in 2 parts. The unboxing that should be a little bit fast, I will try, and then the Tactica, the how to build, where we're going to detail each of the variants, and there are quite a few that can be built in there, and we will see which I recommend or not. Without further ado, let's open the box. And as always, if you enjoy this type of content, give us a thumbs up, it really helps. And also give us a comment. You have a chance to win an entire Covenant Battlefleet, but you also have a chance to win an entire Union Battlefleet, like quite a massive one, only surface ships. And you gain a chance, like a ticket for every video that you comment. It includes conquest, it includes partners, this kind of thing. So do that if you want to have a chance. We'll make the random draw when we reach 1500 subscribers. Oh, welcome to the little teaser that we get for Armored Clash. And yeah, they explain a little bit what is the Dystopian Age and the website where you get everything. Oh, a QR code that sends you there. Nice. And of course, we are all very much anticipating Armored Clash. Little teaser there, summer 2024. So we do have flight stands, quite a lot of it, but that is going to be needed. 6, 12, 18 of them, which is going to be needed because we're going to have 8 Bogotas. We're going to have the Union, like the Destiny, of course, 9. And 8 is going to be 15. But no, not at all, because we're going to use 4 of the Union Aerial Sprues to build the Destiny. So of course, we don't need that much. Let's have a look at what we get in terms of bases. We have 8 bases for the Bogota, exactly what we need. All right. And this is what I was a little bit fearing. We have those bases for the Union Aerial Sprues, great. And we also have 1 massive base for the Destiny itself. But it means that if you buy this whole set, you will not be able to just build the Union Aerial Sprues as Zeppelins because you will run out of bases. Bases are not that rare, so you can find them elsewhere if you have a lot in stock already, good. But otherwise, it might put a little stop in your plans to use the Destiny as a cheap source of Union Aerial Sprues. The Destiny bits, we'll take a look in a second. Of course, a lot of bases. We're supposed to be able to send, if we make only Rangers, 16 SRS, and that is exactly what we get, a number of bases. So this is actually 20 SRS, but that's because the Destiny itself possesses SRS capacity of 8. So it means that you will not be able to have enough bases if you build the Destiny and 4 Rangers. That is fine, we'll see it in a minute, that probably you don't want 4 Rangers from the beginning with Destiny. Maybe it is competitive, but anyway, bases are quite plethoric. If you buy just 2 sets of Aerials, you're gonna have already a lot of bases, so that is fine. Something to note, out of the box, you don't have enough bases to make a full SRS sending list. All right, the now well-known Union Aerial Sprues, where you have, of course, the famous Bogota that got a boost. We'll talk about it in the Tactica, those are magnetized. So the beautiful, beautiful Bogotas that look like a crazy good-looking gunship. Love this model, and it got really a boost. We'll talk about it. You do have those SRS tokens, as we've said. Those are mine. Those are little metallic aircrafts that I put there. But do note that one of my new painter, Caryall, started to 3D print airships to put on SRS tokens, and it works just as well. And at least it's not metal, so there is not so much weight, because having metallic aircrafts on top of the SRS token does put on a weight. Then you can build, of course, with those things, some aircrafts with the broadside and stuff. In the end, each sprue allows you to build 1 of these Union Aerials. Those are Tinconderogas. I just love the design. They can drop troops from under, and they also have all these rockets to the front. But we'll see, like every single variant is interesting and has something to bring to the table. So we'll see. And plus, this can absolutely, if you don't build the Tinconderoga, you put this on an island and it can absolutely be a missile silo. and you can just use the bits you don't use for conversion, making terrains, etc, etc. It's gonna look great. If you do feel crazy, just want to show it that you are going to run out of bases if you try to do this here, but technically you can make for every 2 sprues that you get like this, you can make one of those Mass 3 flagships. I'm not sure you should do it with the Destiny box set, but if, for example, it's the only box that you buy, maybe you can do this. Bases are not that important. You can use a Mass 2 base to put your Mass 3. It's gonna be fine. Nobody's gonna die, especially except maybe in an ultra competitive tournament, which don't exist yet for Dystopian Wars. So yeah, you can put those ships, especially this, the Custodian, that I should not recommend you actually, because it's a H.E.C flagship, which you cannot play with the Destiny. So, but yeah, we'll talk quickly about this in the Tactica. And of course, what we are all waiting for, the Destiny itself. So you need to use 4 sprues, basically 2 custodians that will be side by side. And in the middle is going to be this stuff. Let's have a look what it is. Here it goes. Okay. You have these flight stand. Oh my god, there's some Rotors under. I love it. Love this. And you have this area where you can land. You can have this eagle that looks very American, or it can look like a heart as well. You can think it's the logo of Love Wargames. Maybe it should be our logo now. What do you think? Put your answer in the comment. Should we adopt this logo? Anyway, this is going to look like a brilliant superstructure. I love the observation base right there. Like this is gonna look so good. We have also the little superstructure on the top. Again, a lot of viewing places. This is where you can put some repair ships like in the fluff. You don't actually have them, but what I would recommend, and what I will see if it can be done, oh, more logos. What can be done maybe is to drill in there and put a magnet, so you can put your Bogotas or things like this on it. It would look good, your Talos as well. And then my favorite part, the little extra broadsides, because this Destiny has 3 heavy broadsides on each side. It's the first ship ever that has this, and I love that it already has, as you can see, the base. It has a lot of broadside. It's like 1 heavy broadside, 2 heavy broadside, and you have some additional ships, additional turrets on top to make even more broadsides. That's a very American thing to do. And yeah, that's all the resin you get, but it already looks good. One thing that I will say is that if you buy the Destiny and you already have a Destiny or you don't want it, all of these bits would look crazily good on an island. Like you can use this to make an airfield. This can be a little base for sure, a little repair platform, and those can just be like defenses that you put like little bunkers. Like, just saying. Not saying you should do this, because the Destiny is for sure the coolest looking miniatures in my opinion right now for Dystopian Wars, and yes, in my heart it even dethroned the Avalon. We'll see the Vauban when it comes. But if you don't do the Destiny and you just want some cheap aerial sprues, this as terrain is gonna look amazing. All right, I promise it would not be too long. Let's go now for the Tactica to have a look in depth to each version. Something to note is that when I recorded this video, we've seen the beta version of the Union, but I will record the Tactica once we have the final open version of the Orbat, so I don't have to go back and make some corrections. So I apologize in advance if this comes a little bit later than I wanted, but we are waiting for the true final Orbat. We are back for the Tactica, and something to note, we are in version 3.07a, because there's been the official release, 3.07, and there has been a little update, including notably the rules finally for the civilians. If I had to sum it up, it's a 100-point civilian that you can boost with a couple things, and it gives you Devils on luck, but it is forward deployment, so it's not in your deployment zone. I'm not sure it's well priced. It's quite fragile armor 5, but it's Devils on luck, so if you have no access to it, okay, it's interesting, but maybe you should just upgrade to a Nautilus, which is so much better. That being said, we are now with the official version, so we know what the Destiny does, what the upgrade have been, well actually more like the nerfs have been for the Union Aerial. Absolutely deserves, they were way too strong, some of them, and now they are still very strong, but still more in line with the rest of the factions. So first thing is to remember what the Union playstyle is. They are quite easy to pilot in the sense that they're well good for beginners. This is for the Union in general, but the Union Aerials are still very good for beginners because they have most of their weapons to the front. They're quite fast actually. Well, they are Aerials, but they look like Zeppelin, so you could think they're not that fast. They are, and they're very resilient. They're immune to torpedoes, obviously. They are, because they are Aerial. They also are very tough. They have a huge citadel. And yeah, this is a great faction for beginners. Easy to play, quite powerful, and it's quite hard to make mistakes with them. So very good. They're very point efficient, especially the Ranger. A little bit less now that it got a point number, but still very good. And something that is very interesting is that they all have the Union ILs, and I do mean all, including the Bogota in the update. They all have Give Them Hell, which is a rule which allows you to gain devastating on your gunnery and your fusillade weapons. Already great on the gunnery weapons because those are everywhere, but especially on Union Aerials since they all have heavy broadsides, and this is fusillade. It means they already have incredibly powerful broadsides, rerolling all the blues, and if they get devastating on top of that, it means that you gain even more out of your rerolls, and you already have a lot of rerolls, because you reroll a lot of dices, which gives you always more chances to get a 6, and 6 being with devastating 3 hits. So poof, that is going to be an oppressive amount of firepower at point blank. It does mean that ships like the Ranger, for example, which is an aircraft carrier, can really punch well at point blank. It can fight himself. We've seen in our battle reports California, for example, sinking a Magenta with lucky dices, and it was a basic broadside. If you start to have heavy broadsides with devastating, I cannot even imagine the amount of firepower that it can spike when you get a little bit lucky. Yep, Union are good, they are tough, they are efficient, and they are quite defensive. They're not super like don't have super great movement trickeries. They are not extremely aggressive, but they're just good, tough ships. So a little reminder of what you get in the box. You get Destiny Skyfortress, which is this amazing looking ship right here, if I'm correct. You also have 8 Bogotas, which are the mass ones, because you're gonna have 8 sprues, and trust me, those are gonna be great. Something that I will say now is that even if you don't want 8 Bogotas, you can give them a different equipment, yes, but you can also paint them in 2 different color schemes. You paint at least 5 to be your Bogotas, because we will see with the Destiny you can bring a unit of Bogota for free, like you pay for them in points, but you don't have to put them in your list, so convenient. You can get 5 of them like this, and the other 3 you can paint them in another paint scheme and use them as Acron rotor observation crafts. Not enough to make a whole unit, but enough to put them as escort tokens, especially since some of the units, the Union Aerial units, really enjoy having an escort token to gain extreme range on their rockets. Finally, you will have 4 Union ships that you will be able to build, like the Union Airships. Lots of variants. As you can see, there are 5 different variants, which is a lot. Some of them are better than others, but all of them are quite equal in the sense, like they all of them do very different roles, like all of them. And yes, there is a clear winner in my heart. That is, well, now that it got a point nerf, it might be a little bit more balanced, but the Ranger is still an insane ship, probably the best carrier of the game. But all of them are interesting, like the Steward, the Republic, they all have their own thing. Republic has been nerfed, we'll see. So lots of options. As we have just seen in the unboxing, you do not have enough bases to make more than 4 Union airships, but if you have other bases from other stuff, especially if you magnetize your bases, then feel free to build like 6 Union airships and 1 Mass 3, or for example to build 8 Mass 2 ships. That is absolutely possible if you have enough bases. Do know that for the Mass 3 ships, they have been mostly boosted because they needed it, most of them. If you play pure Union, so pure American, you cannot have the Mass 3 Custodian, which is a H.E.C only ship, the one with the big bubble of Sentinel generator, which is still a very good ship. You can also build them as the Venture or the Excelsior heavy sky cruisers, and we will talk about those two because one of them significantly changed, and I said we would just give a few words about it, but they changed quite a bit, and even though they are not technically legal to build with the Destiny, since you have enough sprues and everything to actually build them, we will just talk about how they changed since our last orbits. Finally, you have 8 Union SRS tokens, which is great. More SRS token, the better. do note that you should paint them all if you can, because the more you have them, you can really put, like you say, like, okay, I put 8 SRS on you, and it doesn't feel the same when you have a pile of 8 SRS and just one on the top, or if you have like literally 2 lines of 4 SRS charging at you. It looks great on the table, so I would recommend painting them, especially since you will have so many of them. Alright, so as I said, we will talk quickly about how those things changed. The Excelsior is still 246 points, but big changes, or quite a huge change. It's not a flagship anymore, but it can become a flagship. So it means that, well, you don't have to make it a flagship. So if you just take it alone, it does not have, it will not give any points to your enemy if you have one Excelsior just flying around. So that is great, especially since it has Vanguard that can play it quite aggressively. If you don't use it as a flagship, then it can have up to 2 models, like up to 2 models in the squadron, so 2 Excelsiors in total, which is going to be great. The thing to note is that it has focused fire, gunnery, and aerial. So this is the new rewarding for rocket barrage, and I even forgot, I think it was focused fire or something. Focused gunnery, maybe it was for the gunnery weapons. It means that once per turn you will have one weapon that will gain a reroll of the blank and +2, and it's going to be either aerial, either gunnery. And as it is written, I just put you the rule so you can see focus fire. As like rule as written, I think that you can only use either gunnery, either aerial, which is very sad, because it would be a good funky boost for their only like 2 little rocket batteries, which trust me will not do much. I think like rule as intended, it means like you should be able to have one focused fire on gunnery, which is what you're gonna use all the time, and also focused fire aerial on top of that, so 2 attacks rolling blanks, because otherwise like there is not even a choice. Like you can remove focused fire aerial, you will never use it ever. You will always use your heavy gun battery, like 100% of the time. So I think it means that both of these actions, but it's just a brand new rewarding focus fire, so I think they will explicit it later on. For now, like it's so obvious the intent, I would play it as both weapons gaining focus fire, both of the little rocket batteries, which are not gonna, even 4 rocket batteries are not gonna do much, and also the gunnery weapons. Okay. The other thing that has changed is for the Venture, also can be in a squadron of 2, automatically a flagship. Do note that if you are both a flagship and a multi-model squadron, you don't give extra points. So you give either points for being an admiral, either points for being a squadron. So I would recommend, if you play the Venture, to play them by 2, because you're not giving up more victory points. The dual magnetic Gatling guns have been nerfed, but it's still a very good ship, especially because it has unexpected arrival, which means it can drop behind enemy lines easily. That is great, especially if you give him some Republic to accompany him. Heavy firepower, air razor munitions on its broadside, plus of course give them hell. The dual magnetic Gatling guns, like this is going to be amazing, and you can even board, thanks to Minutemen Assault Bay, with Frey 11 quite easily and without any risk of reprisal. So amazing again. I really like the Venture, and I think it's going to be a very good and very dynamic ship. And now we come to the big boy, the Destiny. I'm going to try to not spend too much time because, oh boy, that's a big one. How to start? 368 points. Good, extremely expensive. Probably one of the most expensive ship of the game. If you don't count like the Ice Maiden. But I think it's very much worth it. It got a few points nerfed, like one after the other, because it was way too cheap before. It got like plus 20 points. I think it's quite fine now. Only armor 7 and Citadel 14. Armor 7 is sucks a little bit when you are flagship at this point cost, but it has 10 hull points before it gets crippled, and then another 8, so 18 hull in total. Quite good. It is aerial, so obviously it is going to get immunity to any torpedo weapons. That is great. Flag barrage 10, so quite some protection against enemy aircrafts. It's even more if you put some other Union airships around. And it has 3 heavy broadsides, as we have seen for the unboxing. This is absolutely insane with heavy firepower. If you do manage to get your heavy firepower, it's going to be 30 dices, rerolling blues, devastating. I don't see anything surviving that. Like, I just don't accept another ship of the same size, because with this you're gonna do on average, okay, I will not make the statistics, but I think you're doing at least 40 or even 50 hits with this attack. Who
Why? How? And if you are targeting an aerial, you get sustained on top of this because of air laser munitions. You just obliterate any airship next to you with this, which is thematic with all the broadsides that there is. I don't imagine anything surviving this amount of firepower, but still something to point. The main damage of this ship is from its heavy broadsides. It also has a size capacity of 8, good, the same as the Avalon, but the Avalon is tougher. It has armor 8, it's level 15 I think, so armor 8 especially makes it a lot tougher, and the Avalon is way cheaper, like almost 100 points cheaper, maybe even more, I don't know, I'm not sure anymore, but yeah, around 100 points cheaper, which makes a huge difference. Still, this thing is tough, and like the Destiny is tough in general, like being aerial, and it has great firepower. But you know what else it has as a rule? It has field repair platform, and this combos very well with the light rotor wind that it has, which allow it to have one unit of Bogotas that we'll see later, or Acrons, fine as well, for the usual point cost, but they don't take space in your fleet. Okay, if it helps you, very good. This makes me think like you should always have at least 5 Bogotas or 8 Acrons in your list. Do note that yes, I said your Bogotas, you can make 5 Bogotas and 3 Acrons. If you want, you can paint your 8 Bogotas as Acrons and proxy them. They're gonna look like very good Acrons, and that works as well. And why is it so good? Because of the field repair platforms. It means that any airship within 7 inches of the Destiny, and the Destiny is quite thick, we don't measure from the base, you measure from the model itself, so that's quite a big area. So every mass 1 aerial within 7 inches, when they die, and when they die only, you roll a dice and you have a 5+, like if you make a blue, the ship stays there with 1 hull point. It's not a feel no pain, you don't roll every time you lose a wound. You just roll when you're destroyed, and a 5+, you're still there, you're still alive, which is insane because the Bogotas, as we will see, they get a little boost in durability. The Acrons, they are still very cheap, so very annoying to deal with. And yeah, this makes these airships incredibly annoying to deal with, like insanely annoying. So that is very good. And the Destiny though is not that fast because it is lumbering, so it will only move 9 inches, still very good, with a turn limit of 4, which is great. Overall, it is very pricey, very pricey. There's tons of weapons like twin dual magnetic Gatling gun, twin aerial torpedo salvo, 4 rocket batteries, okay. Like it has tons of weaponries. Is it worth its points? I think yes, absolutely. Is it overpowered? No, especially not after these nerfs. Are we sad that the Avalon is not as strong? Yes, as well. I know some people in the Discord said like, yeah, but compare the Destiny to the Avalon, poor Avalon. And I will say to those people, points-wise, it makes sense. The Destiny is way more expensive and it brings more, especially in terms of offensive firepower. That's it, and it's funky rule. The Avalon has other combos, or it's more resilient, much more resilient. It can combo well with the Tinconderoga, and they look similar, but they are at a very different point cost, so they are balanced in terms of gameplay, Destiny and Avalon. I understand though that people want also to have an Avalon at around 400 points, being an absolute beast with crazy weaponry, crazy shenanigans, and being really a flagship, like a centerpiece of their army. This I hear, absolutely. I would also hope that whenever there is a chrono rework, that the Avalon gets plus 100 points and get as insane as the Destiny, because the Destiny is the centerpiece for your Union forces, like as much as an Enterprise, and even maybe a little bit more. So, insane ship, incredible, love the appearance, and in terms of gameplay, it's really, really good. Love it. We will now go over the Mass 2 ships. I will go quite faster on this. I tried to be fast on the Destiny and I failed as always. I'm sorry, I go always too much in details. I will just tell you about what changed on each variations because we've talked about them already before with the H.E.C. Honorable Eclipse Company unboxing and Tactica. The Constellation is basically the same. It has a little rewarding focused fire gunnery, which is what it used to be, like focused gunnery, and it's still a good ship. It has Vanguard, which is quite important for him. It wants to be at point blank for a while because then the enemy will be considering you at long range, so that's fine. If the enemy likes you at long range, just charge forward and use your Anaheim autocannon as fast as possible. And absolutely don't forget the Freedom incendiary bombs, because don't just look at the autocannons and the heavy gun battery to see if it's worth it or not. The Freedom incendiary bomb is powerful. You are very agile, speed 8, turn 5 with a good mass like and Vanguard, you can use your bomb, especially since you want to be close to use your broadsides. So a good ship. This is like the default battle cruiser airships, but it is very, very good. Flag barrage 5, Tarth, like good basic default ship. And the NIM autocannon, if you get at point blank, even with a single ship at point blank with Give Them Hell, it's gonna be 9 dices sustained gunnery. Nobody's laughing when each and every ship is sending this at them, plus having a battery, every broadsides and the bombs, etc. So very good ship. Even better in my opinion, maybe not in terms of like tournament competitivity, but just in terms of flavor, it is the Republic Cloudraker airship. I love this thing. First of all, it looks amazing with all the Gatling on the front, on the broadside, like it looks so American. And 122 points. It got lower in points because the dual magnetic Gatling guns, hard to say, have been way nerfed, like way nerfed. They are now, you have 1 per ship and it's 8-4 at point blank. And since you want to jump around with this ship between strategic withdrawal and expected arrival, it means that 1 ship is gonna be 5 dices and you're gonna make +3. So at the maximum, it's gonna be 14 dices, I think. So of course with sustained and not even Give Them Hell, because dual magnetic Gatling guns for some reason are neither fusillade neither gunnery. So yeah, a ship that is much weaker now, cheaper as well, but I just like this idea of having these Republic ships dropping from the sky, launching a volley of heavy broadsides. Remember, they have heavy broadsides, that's going to be their main damage now. Also sending their, of course, dual magnetic Gatling guns, all linking together, and Aerial Torpedo Salvo, use them as well, and then just going back at the end of the turn to come back at the beginning of the next turn. They're going to be very mobile. You use them conservatively and annoyingly because they are quite tough for their point cost, so use them to really annoy your opponent and hit where he doesn't want you to hit. And they are free 7, not insane, but when you start to have a 4 ship, there's going to be 13 dices of fray. You can go and hunt some aircraft carrier or some small ships easily on top of the broadsides and the Gatling guns and everything. If they're still alive, you can try to board them. Fray 13 is not ridiculous. The Steward then, I like it as well. It is very much neat because the Sentinel generator ship can be such a great generator, especially when you combo it with mass ones. Like if your enemy is shooting at you with massive dices pull on your flagship, on the Destiny for example, it's not going to make a huge difference. Still nice, put it next to a Destiny if you can, but not insane. The reason why you should put it next to a Destiny is because next to the Destiny there is also going to be some Bogotas, for example, and Acrons. And let me tell you, Acrons or Bogotas that are already annoying to deal with, got a defensive boost in this version, are going to get a -2 dices because of the Sentinel generator. And also when they die on a 5+, they're not dead and you need to shoot on them again. Probably the most annoying unit to shoot at of the entire game. Like, I think so. I don't see a good, efficient way to deal with them. They're not insanely good, but you will just not getting rid of them. So the Sentry is tough and will attack enemy firepower. It has Minutemen assault base, so good fray of 9. Like, consider it. It's good at it's fine at boarding. Better than the Republic, though the Republic usually moves in packs of 4, so compensates. And you can shoot all the time with the Sentinel generator with the crippled value of the Heat Lance. And if you use a card for a valor effect, you can use it at the full power. If you have only 1 Steward, I would not consider using the valor effect. It's 1 card a little bit wasted. If, however, you have a pack of 4 Stewards, first of all, I don't understand your game plan. Maybe you want to make use of flash lamps to keep them all at 5 inches from each other and really cover the whole board. Maybe that's your plan. Didn't think about it. Maybe might be a good plan actually. 4 Stewards, like to cover the whole thing, and also to spread flag barrage actually might work. And then if you have a large pack, yeah, absolutely use your card to transform your 4 Heat Lances into a full battle ready profile. Otherwise, for only one, and that's how I will play it, I would not bother. Still a quite good ship. Do note that it is an Honorable Eclipse Company ship, so you need to make some list building shenanigans if you want to be able to play the Steward. But it's still quite important. We didn't talk about the Custodian in the flagships, but I wanted to talk about this guy because it's very easy to make. You have enough base to make a Steward, so I wanted to cover this, but be careful if you don't play in friendly environments and you play in a tournament and they want your list to be legals. Be careful, you will need to have an Honorable Eclipse Company fleet in order to put some stewards in your list. The Tinconderoga, still as always my favorite airship. Like, it, just look at it. It looks amazing with all the rockets in the front. Like, you can just imagine it dropping all the rockets at extreme range, which it will, trust me. It has also good boarding with Minutemen and Assault Bay, like, in case. I'm not sure you should focus on it. It has focused fire aerial, great. You're gonna have more rockets and rolling blanks, and this is exactly how you should use it. You should make a large pack of those guys, give them a single Acron aerial escort, absolutely, so you gain extreme range, and this guy is just gonna be a sniper from the rear. Like, it's gonna see everything, like, except some aerial terrain, it's gonna see above everything, and he's gonna say, like, this guy all the way up there, like this aircraft carrier that is hiding behind an island, let's just drop like 4 heavy rockets plus 4 small rocket batteries with a focused fire at extreme range, like boom. And yeah, it's a very good sniper slash artillery. And if the enemy gets too close to you, for example with some submariners, or for example it has some reserves coming, etc., you can punch back with the heavy broadsides, but also with your boarding, because if you are a pack of 4, which is what I would recommend with the Ticonderogas, you're going to be at fray 14, so even higher than the Republic, except you're going to have a Minutemen Assault Bay as well, which means that you will gain sustained, which is really good. Plus you have give them hell, which means that if you are at the equal, like around 0 or +1 success, +2 success, if it's not if there is no winner in the boarding action, you are considered to be the winner because you're Americans. And very good ship, the Ticonderoga. I personally love it. I love this idea of having these snipers. It fulfills the same role as the Washington as well, except it doesn't run out of ammunition and it can see above islands. But the Washington is more dedicated to taking care of packs of Mass 1 ships. This guy, the Ticonderoga, is more in the role of the Kostroma a bit for the Russians, in that sense that he will stay in the back, provide extreme range firepower, snipe things also that are hidden behind islands, and to make a counterpunch when the enemy gets too close. And finally, last Mass 2 ship, the best for the end, of course, the Ranger. 121 points. It got points nerfed after point nerfs since it was at 100 points when it started, although it was 4/2 in terms of whole points, which is not the same at all. But this, it's the best carrier for the game. Like, it has exactly what a carrier would want. It is aerial, so it is immune to torpedoes. If you play with aerial terrain, which does start, we do start to see tables with clouds or flying islands in our little meta, but mostly clouds we see them. In deployment zone, you put the Ranger behind the cloud, aerial terrain, it's hidden. It is immune to torpedoes if the enemy has some flying airship like Pridens with torpedoes. No, this guy immune to torpedoes and any submerged attack. It is obviously going to be immune to submariners. And how do you deal with that? Maybe your opponent wants to send some SRS token on you. Well, you have flag barrage 6 per ship. So if you have a squadron of 4 of them, it's gonna be flag barrage 24. Good luck with that. And on top of that, he has ADV of 5 to also, like, if there is one of them that survived, to deal with them. Like, I don't see how you deal with a Ranger if there is aerial terrain. If there is no aerial terrain, just keep it at 40 at extreme range. If the enemy has railgun, sucks to be you a little bit, though you have great Citadel 14, so even with railguns, it's quite hard to breach your Citadel, even with a -1 to the Citadel from the rail weapons. And yeah, it's just annoying. And I hear people saying like, yeah, but it's aerial, it's a problem to be aerial because everybody can see you. Yeah, but who can shoot at you at 40 inches, which is exactly where you will stay? Torpedoes, you're immune. Rockets, you have quite fine ADV values. And what else? Particle beamers. Okay, particle beamers might be annoying, but SRS, you're fine with flag barrage 6, and you're quite resilient. You are 4/4 in terms of hull point repartition, so you get crippled even slower than other aircraft carriers. I'm calling it out. The Ranger cannot lose, like, except if you roll very bad in your battle log, but it is the best carrier to make a SRS fight with another aircraft carrier, like, of the entire game. I don't see any other. And the cherry on the cake, if the enemy does bring some Rotors to attack your other ships or has reserve, etc. Remember, you have heavy broadside on each and every one of them and give them hell. That's not to like 121 points. Yes, I pay this every day. I would buy 8 of them when they were 100 points. At 121, you start to think a little bit more, but yeah, absolutely. Even at 130 points, I would still buy them. I shouldn't have said that. Maybe someone from the game team will hear it and nerf them at 130. But still, even at 130 points with these exact statistics, they would still be very good. And we talk now about the Bogotas. You heard how happy I was about the Bogotas because I love the models, absolutely. And they got quite a boost in the sense that they have hull 3. That is very important because before they had armor 4, Citadel 10, but you almost never came into consideration except if someone shoots you with piercing because you had 2 hull points and 8 hits, you're done. Now, the small attacks will kill you much slower. They will need 3 attacks between 4 and 7 hits to kill you instead of 2 before. And they will need to go and commit to try to reach your citadel. So really it changes a lot of things to have 3 hull points on the Bogota. Plus you have now this combo with a Destiny, which can carry it on Bogotas, of course. That is great. And you can also give them a sentinel generator nearby to make them even more annoying. They are quite good now that they give them hell. The aerial torpedo pod is fine, like at closing range it can do a few damage. We've seen this in the battle report. No, it was not a battle report, sorry, it was on another channel, on the Dingue de Jeu, which is a French channel we made a live, and we've seen some Bogotas doing quite some work against some Egyptians. The aerial torpedo pod is good, but the Anaheim autocannon, now that they have give them hell, that is going to be great. Torpedo pods are good. Anaheim autocannon will give them hell. Since you can get a pack of 5 Bogotas, that is going to be quite a lot of firepower at point blank only, but you do have quite some chance to reach this range now that you have an extra hull points, now that you can get a sentinel, this you could before, and now that you can stay next to a Destiny, which will track the firepower, but will also keep you alive on a 5+. Okay, you have the Destiny Battlefleet set. You love it because the models are amazing, the rules are fun, they're fun to play as and they're fun to play against. They are not super oppressive. You do see them coming and you can try to shoot them, these giant zeppelin, before they reach your line. It's gonna be fun. You love them. You want to expand. So how do you do from that? My number 1 recommendation would be the H.E.C Honorable Eclipse Company Battlefleet set. We've covered it recently. It gives you some more airships, and you've seen how many different types of airships you can get. Yeah, absolutely. 3 more, you're gonna have 7 in total. I don't know how you want to build your thing, depends on how competitive you want to be, etc, etc. Still, each of them can be in packs of 4, so more Union airships, the better. You're gonna have 1 air cruiser, so it's those mass 3 ships. If I had to give you a recommendation, I would say build one of them as the custodian, if you're gonna have only 1 mass 3 ships, because it unlocks you the sentinel generator on the custodian, and it also allows you to start to have some stewards, so that is good. I would, if you know you're gonna have 2 mass 3 ships, because maybe you already have the 2-player starter set and you already have a mass 3 Union airship, then maybe consider getting 2 Ventures, for example, or 2 Excelsiors, because that is such a fun rule. Remember that the Excelsior, like the one with the Gatlings, which is a Venture, the Venture and the Custodian look very, very similar. Like the Gatling is in the front, it looks similar to Sentinel Generator. So you can proxy one as the other if you need easily, like from far away you don't see them apart, except if you are a Union player and you know that the bridge is a little bit different, but apart from that, no worries. And finally, why is it such a great purchase? Because you get 5 Bogotas. You know I love Bogotas, but especially see if you have 5 Bogotas, so it means 13 in total. It means you can make 5 of them on the paint scheme to have a full squadron of Bogota, as we've said, and then you can make 8 of them in another color scheme and proxy them as Acrons, which are very hard to get your hand by. And then you have a full squadron of Bogotas, a full squadron of Acrons. And you can, of course, use the if you don't want to have a pack of 8 Acrons, which I understand. They cannot be fun for your opponent if you make the whole combo of 8 Acrons plus 5 Bogotas plus Destiny plus Sentinel. Like, not very fun to play against this one. And you can use the Acrons as always to trigger extreme range on your rocket ships. So probably the best way after the Destiny to expand. Then of course obligatory starter set mention, because they are such great boxes. If you don't have Union yet and you love the Destiny, consider getting the Union starter set as well. I mean, it is going to be a great complement, except if you have the theme of full aerial. I understand. You might need some rules written. If you play H.E.C, you might need some surface destroyers, though come on, this is a matter for tournament players. Probably the rules will be rewritten a little bit so it can be made pure aerial, I think. So don't worry about this too much. But if you don't have this theme of full aerial, highly recommend to get a Union starter set. Great ships. The Constitution is the default basic but very good battleship with 3 forward-facing heavy gun batteries, and the Union love their heavy gun batteries. Great broadside, a shield generator, torpedoes. It's a very good combat ship, and it has 2 very good named variants: the Mexico, which you probably will not play for a while unless you commit to the Union surface fleet, and the Texas, which is basically an angry Constitution with focus gunnery now, and with Fortunes of War, which is insane and still as good. Highly recommend, great ship. You have 2 frontline cruisers, which are good point efficient ships. 2 support cruisers. I will not go too much in details, but you get the Washingtons there. If your enemy has too many mass 1 ships, you can get some. The California is insane, really good. Montgomery a little bit redundant with the Destiny, and you can also have the I forgot the electric cruiser. There is an electric cruiser that is very powerful as well, especially since the electro cannons got boosted. You also get 4 Farragut frigates, great, very annoying little frigates that at point blank, thanks to Give Them Hell especially, can pack a real punch, and even more if you put Gatlings on them. And 4 Patriot automatas, glass cannons, mass 1s, but if you play the Destiny and some Sentinel generator, those little glass cannons can really become a lot tougher thanks to this little combo. And those guys, they are basically angrier Bogota, faster, with more firepower, but even more just as fragile, more fragile for the point cost. So they really need this defensive combo triggered by the Destiny and the Sentinel to be able to get played efficiently. And then you have some Acrons, some real Acrons, not the Bogota being proxied as one. And of course you have dices, cards, tokens, etc, etc. I forgot to say this, but if you buy your boxes from my hobby place, link in the description, you have minus 10%, and we get 2 or 3% of the purchase at Love Wargames. So we can buy even more stuff, more miniatures, to make even larger battle reports, as always. And the first time I'm gonna recommend this, but if you want to expand, why not getting another Destiny Battlefleet set? I mean, it is expensive, yes. It's a bit of a meme purchase, but I mean, the Destiny is basically 8 Union Aerial Sprues. At this price, I'm not sure you will do a lot, you could do a lot worse. There is this thing of the bases, depends if you have enough bases or not. If you are veteran Dystopian Wars players with magnetized base, you will have those, and then consider this. If you are a new player and you don't have any bases at all, maybe don't consider this and go with the H.E.C box, the How to Expand #1 is going to be better for you. But I have to point out that if you do this, if you buy a second Destiny Battlefleet set, you're going to have more flagships, tons of Union aerials, however you want, and they're just going to be great. And as we've seen in the unboxing, the extra resin that you get from the Destiny, either you can sell it to a friend if they need, but especially if you put this on islands, all the bits, all the resin bits are great for missile silos, for base, for repair platforms, for everything, for little bunkers. That's how I would do if I didn't have already a ton, and I mean a ton, of Union airships. By the way, do expect at least 2,000 points battle report, fully aerials, with the Destiny, with a few Mass 3 flagships and a ton of Union aerial. It's gonna be incredible. Maybe we'll try to push 2,500 or 3,000 points battle report fully aerial. It's gonna be glorious. Thank you very much for having watched until the end. Please, 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 if you enjoy this type of comment, do give us a thumbs up. It really, really helps to show us all around the world and to keep the channel growing. Do consider subscribing as well, because as soon as we reach 1500 subscribers, we will finish the little contest, and there will be a winner for the Union Armada and one for the Covenant Armada, and we will start right away a new contest. So do the faster we reach 1500, the better for everyone. And as always, leave us a little comment to gain a ticket for this specific contest. One comment per video to gain a chance. While you make a comment, let us know what you think of the Union Aerial Armada, and do let us know how we should call our Destiny class flagship for our narrative campaign. We have a few ideas, but I would like to hear yours. Thank you very much for having watched until the end. Take care of yourself, and until the next video, remember to keep spreading the love all around. Bye.